this one is from Chloe in Toronto.
Okay.
And she says, I have a hard time knowing when to come in and don't think I have a good sense of rhythm. Is that something you are just born with, or is that something I can develop? And if so, how?
Well, you can absolutely develop it, of course. As a matter of fact, it's really important that singers do develop a sense of rhythm. For that reason, that's very common to not quite know where to come in. But then also, when you develop the sense of rhythm, you can also have more fun and play with the rhythm and embellish the melody lines and do all those kind of things. The thing is about developing rhythm, often we think of rhythm as being these fancy patterns of syncopations and things like that. How to develop rhythm is, first of all, to be able to feel a pulse, a steady pulse. So if I'm snapping like this, I want to be able to keep a steady pulse. Now, as you're noticing, I'm not talking in rhythm here. I'm just talking randomly, but I'm still able to feel a steady pulse. So that's one thing that we want to develop. Now, musicians also then learn how to feel what's between this pulse here. So if this is a quarter note, these are quarter notes, then it would be ba 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 ba. Then those would be eighth notes, and then ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da. Those would be 16th notes, and that's a little bit of music theory then to know that. But to feel the stuff in between. Now, when you can do that, then it actually becomes quite easy to then be able to do syncopations once you learn what syncopations are and do much more fancy rhythm, because you still feel the pulse. Now, the other thing that musicians do is that they feel sort of the overall pattern. So, for example, if we have like these 4 quarter notes within a measure, so if I count 3, 4, and then I start snapping like this. Now, like I said, we're talking like this then, and then I'm snapping along. Could you hear that? I'm missing the snaps, but anyway, there. So there I had done 16 snaps, and then I did on the next one. But how did I know that? I wasn't counting, but we feel it. We feel the 4, the 8, the 16s, 32, all that kind of stuff. So when I was a kid and I played in a symphony orchestra, I played the violin, then some pieces you would have long rests, like 32 measures or 35 and a half measures or something. But we don't sit there and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4 until we get to 35. We don't need to. We know when it's 4, when it's 8, when it's 16, and then we feel when we're supposed to come in. So if you have a song and you know you're supposed to come in on 3 and a half, if you're counting and 1, 2, 3, and then you're supposed to come in, you're probably going to be late. You probably forgot to breathe, right? But that's why it's so important then to develop this sense of the 4s, the 8s, and all that kind of stuff, because then you will naturally feel when to inhale, and then you just go, and then you become part of the music. It's not such a intellectual thinking, counting kind of thing. You feel it more. But there is a strategy to be able to feel it, absolutely. Good question.
Well, and you pair actually have a rhythm training portion of your program and course, right?
Right. So inside the singing zone, then I have the rhythm training course, which is free then to all members. And that's where we go through this. So you learn to develop the pulse and then everything in between and the theory that goes along with it. What is a triplet? What is a 16th note? What is a syncopation? And all these kind of things. Yeah.
Oh, great.